The marketing trend is your friend. Hello and welcome to the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. This is your home on the web for no BS, no hype, straight talk on how to grow your sales, how to make more money, how to sell more faster at higher margin with less stress and more fun. And I guarantee it. Today we have Mr. Wade Dunn Jr., cool dude with some interesting insights and information on internet radio and what he thinks is happening in that trend. And that's what we're going to be getting into, is detecting marketing trends using tools like Google to its fullest. Okay, Google is your friend, believe it or not, but you need to understand how to use that friend to detect trends. And that's what we get into. And actually, I'm going to be working with Wade here very soon. I'm recording this on October 21st. I'm about to head out to Entrepalooza. It's Entreport's annual conference. I'm speaking on Friday, the 23rd at 11:45 a.m. on SEO. And I'll be sharing some of that information from that presentation after the event. So stay tuned for that. But I tell you that because moving into November, and certainly by the end of the year, I'm going to be working more closely with Wade to launch an internet radio show leveraging these 156 now episodes. And it's amazing what he shared with me and how I'm putting the pieces together, how to expand my brand. So there's a lot you need to be listening to and taking notes and thinking, how can you jump into this space as well? He's got some interesting stats on what's happening with the automobile, with how internet radio is really expanding, and some things I never really thought of, even though it's been right under my nose all this time. And I shared this timing and these dates with you so you understand how things come together in the pre-publishing podcasting world. You know, I interviewed Wade almost a month ago, but I'm launching these two episodes, 155 and 156. I'm pre-recording them on the 21st and publishing them scheduled on their specific days. But so it's fresh this morning on my mind, and I mentioned last time about a friend of mine who shared with me his success with chat, having chat on his website, and he closed two $1,000 clients because of having that chat window available. So check out thesalespodcast.com/chat. You can get a free trial with this company called Pure Chat. I've had the founder on my podcast as well very recently. You can go check him out at thesaleswhisperer.com/session149, Hamid Shojahi. But I know Lindsay there. She came from Infusionsoft and joined them not too long ago. Told me about it. I got set up, and I too have closed thousands of dollars worth of business from this chat software. So again, it's thesalespodcast.com/chat. You have a free trial, and you can start after the free trial for as little as $9 a month. My buddy Jim, who closed a couple $1,000s already, has the $20 plan. But either way, it's super affordable. It is available on your mobile device. You can obviously access it on your desktop. And so I just wanted to bring that up again because it's fresh in my mind this morning, and you really need to check that out. So thesalespodcast.com/chat. Now let's bring on Mr. Wade Dunn Jr. Mr. Wade Dunn Jr., not to be confused with Rats, Way Cool Jr., but you are way cool. All the way from hot Atlanta, welcome to the Sales Podcast. How are you?
I'm well, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just glad I have done my part to make the world a better place today by sharing with you a little rat from the 80s. So now that's going to become your song. I want that low. When I come to Wade Dunn Jr. Photography.com, I expect that music to pop right up.
Pop up and play. That's cool. That's cool. It's a nice song. So, you know, we'll see if we can make that happen.
So your wife is a very outspoken proponent of you. So that's how I came to find you on Twitter. You got a nice following. You got a photography business. Looks like you're a speaker. I mean, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll dive into the rabbit hole, as I say?
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, my name's Wade Dunn. My wife she's I guess my PR person, if you want to call it that. She always had me lined up for different things I don't know about. But, yeah, my hobby or passion is photography. So that's, you know, I love taking pictures, travel a lot to do that. primarily, though, my 9 to 5 is basically an online media company. So the online media, we basically do anything from TV networks, radio stations, websites, mobile apps, all that good stuff. So I mean, that's basically that's who I am. She talks more than I do, but she feels like I talk better. So
hey, that's good. You know, like they say, everybody needs a vamp.
Yeah.
So a vamp, you know, so like John the Baptist was Jesus's vamp, right?
Right. Right.
You got, you know, the Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey. Somebody's got to be out there saying, hey, he's coming. So, you know, because it's when you say it about yourself, you're bragging. If somebody else says it, then it's like, it must be true.
Yeah, it must be true, right? So she said it must be true.
So that's cool. So, so photography is your hobby. So you're making your money online. What do you see most people doing wrong when it comes to promoting their business, building an online presence so they can grow?
Two things. I think the number one thing I see people not doing is actually putting money into their business to promote. I think that's the number one thing for me that I see from people that are trying to promote. They don't want to do the pay for advertisements through YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. They don't want to pay for Google AdSense, different things that'll help kind of put them in different markets. They'll promote on social media through their own profile pages, but after a while you'll tap out that audience. So I think that's the number one thing. Second thing I think is they don't prepare for where they're trying to go. So a lot of times they'll have things online that may not function correctly, which can really hurt their growth because they put out a campaign and they're saying they're marketing a product they're selling, and then people go to the website to get it, but they didn't make sure the checkout worked, or they may have bandwidth. You know how it is when you get the cheap website plan, or like GoDaddy or something, and then you get this big hit, and then you get that server error that pops up because you had too much activity.
Yep.
So I think those are the two things I think just kind of hurts people's growth when they're dealing with online sales.
In the military, we call it ops checking your weapon. You want to make sure that bad boy fires before you're in a foxhole and go click. When you go click, you want to hear a bang right after. So
right.
All right. So how should people? How do they get started investing? Specifically, spending money on advertising, because I know people get scared, right? Social media is quote unquote free because they don't have to dig into their wallet, right? They don't have to add their credit card, and they can go tweet, and they can go build a little Facebook page, and they can do some Instagramming and not spend any money. And now they're wasting their time, and time is money, and there's opportunity costs, but they're not getting billed $6.17 or $687.87. So they think it's free. I mean, I know they're afraid to spend the money because they might do it wrong and they'll feel foolish. So how do they get over that and start learning where to spend their money and how to do it right?
I think the first thing is understanding that each social media platform has its own demographic of people it caters to, right? So you have, for example, like a Pinterest. Pinterest is geared towards the, females, 20s to 50s. So understand the demographics. Facebook is for like the 30 and overs. If you're looking for teenagers, they're like on Instagram, Snapchat. So first you got to understand your product and who you're targeting. And once you figure that out, then you can figure out which social media platform you want to, promote on. It's really just, if you don't do the research, even though it's social media and it is free and they have the paid things, you have to understand, you understand social media first, understand how to use it. For example, Snapchat's platform functions totally different than Facebook's. So you need to understand how to, maximize Snapchat. Now, the new thing they got out, Periscope, with Twitter, that's a whole new platform now that's, tied into Twitter. So how do I use it to promote? So I think understanding what product you have first, what is your product, then who is your target audience will help you determine, when you do the research, which social media platform is where you want to put your money in to get that product in front of your people that you're trying to target. And you should get a good return. Like if you're selling something, online that's really for like moms, you don't want to do a Snapchat campaign or do a Instagram sponsored post. You don't want to do that because 9 times out of 10, if most of your product you're selling is geared towards moms with kids, then you may want to do a Pinterest because that's where most of them are. So I think that's really, like I said, you kind of got to do research. Research kind of alleviates some of the stress, frustrations, anxiety, just being nervous about things. Because once you research, you'll get the knowledge, will help you better understand how to navigate in that new arena.
So where does somebody even research? I mean, how do they know? Do you get into like building personas and stuff with people so they understand who their ideal client is and then help them dig into, where would I go to research who's on Snapchat? Do I just do that in a Google search? Who's on Snapchat? And kind of follow that vein?
Yeah, Google's the easiest. I tell people it's not Google's the easiest way to research because the way Google works is you can type it in like, who uses Facebook the most, who uses Snapchat the most, and just type in questions like that, and Google will bring up all the research that pertains to that question. So Google, for me, I always tell, either clients or whatever, or potential clients, or just people I talk to, use Google because that's the number one, search engine. That's the best place to go. And then just type in Google the questions you have and see if you can find the answers. Because that's basically how you'll find out, where you want to spend your money.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a good father or a bad father. My kids come up, I'm like, did you Google that? Yeah, should I give them the answer or do I teach them how to find the answer? Because I won't always be around.
Yeah.
And
right.
And 9 times out of 10, they're asking something. I'm like, I don't know. Let's go to Google. Let's go to YouTube.
That's what they Google it, right?
Find the answer.
Yeah. Google. There you go. Those are the two platforms, YouTube and Google. Google owns YouTube, but when I talk to people now, I have kids, and they do things that I don't teach them, and good things. And what I find is I ask them questions like, how you find out, how you figure that out, and they'll tell I YouTubed it. What? YouTube? And YouTube has so many tutorials on there. We have a lot of tutorials. Matter of fact. On YouTube ourselves that talks about just some ways to maximize in the internet media market, some things you can do. So, yeah, Google and YouTube are like the number one sources right now when it comes to knowledge.
All right, so let's say they're targeting the 30 and over. I mean, is Facebook played out, or should people still be investigating and investing in advertising on Facebook?
I'm going to say Facebook is not played out. It all depends, again, on your demographic. If you're trying to target the young people, it's kind of played out. But if you're targeting people that are, usually 30 and over, they still love Facebook. So it all depends on your demographic. Facebook still has a large audience and is still growing. Recently, like a month and a half ago, my wife's grandmother just signed up for a Facebook page, and she's like 89, I think. So, and she actively uses it. So
I will edit out her age in the post production. So, Grandma Dunn, cool. we're going to pull that out. Don't worry.
Not a problem. Appreciate that. But yeah, like I said, so Facebook is still. We use Facebook. We use Facebook, when it comes to marketing a lot. Because it's still an audience. And truth be told, every social media platform will be valuable to you to some degree, because some may just be for exposure purposes, where it's being repetitive. You're repeating your brand in front of these people, because eventually they may fall into your demographic that you're targeting. So every social media network at some point will be valuable for at least exposure, if not sales.
Well, so let's talk about that, because I've interviewed a lot of people on advertising and marketing and social media, and the consensus seems to be that social media isn't as much for making that initial sale as it is for deepening the relationship with existing customers. Would you agree with that, or do you see things kind of shifting into where you can generate more sales from a brand new person from a social media ad?
Yeah, it all depends. If you have like a brick and mortar store, in that case, social media would be good for connecting and continuing your customer base as far as the existing customer base you have. If you're internet only, internet media type place where you're not dealing with walk-ins, clients that are walking into your brick and mortar store, in that case, the social media can actually generate a lot of sales for you, because of all your content, all your products are online. that's really where your audience is. It's when it comes to marketing. It's like if I have an online, let's say I have an online website that sells, I don't know, digital downloads. So if I have an online, website that sells digital downloads, and I have, let's say, $20,000 in marketing budget, and I have two options. I can do a billboard, or I can put it into social media marketing.
Okay.
For me...
Okay, hold that thought. What if they only have $2,000? I think a lot of people listening to this are startups, or maybe they're still in corporate America trying to build their own thing. So let's use smaller numbers.
All right, cool. So if you have $2,000, all right, and you have options to basically get a billboard somewhere, or let's say $2,000, you may say, I'm going to do handbills. I'm going to go print out some handbills and pass them out. But you're a digital download type place. Your $2,000 will be better spent in social media marketing. Now, social media is, people don't realize YouTube is social media. You got Facebook, Twitter, all these different places, even Google AdSense. Your $2,000 will go further because you have an internet-based company, and you're basically putting ads on the internet where people can just click, come right to you, make the purchase. Where if you put something in like traditional format, which is like, postcards or handbills or billboards, things where people are not already at the place that you need them to be to get to your product, then you're kind of wasting your money. Now, on the other side of that, if you have a brick and mortar store that you're starting up, and you have the option of either do I do the handbill flyers billboard or the online thing, you'll be better served with the actual hard copy, stuff in their hand or a billboard, because they're already in their car when they see it, or they're already walking, so it's a good chance they can walk right down or drive down to your store. So you have to balance out and see exactly what you're doing to determine, everything is advertising is good and bad. It's all on how you use it. If you don't know what you have and where your audience is, you can waste a lot of money doing quote unquote advertising, but no return, because you're advertising, but you're advertising in the wrong pool of people. So that's not going to give you a return, because they got to do more to get to you. So, like I said, that's what I would recommend.
Well, I always see how everything is more complex than the gurus want to say. Like, buy my stuff. Facebook, sell from Facebook, sell from the stage, sell with webinars, get a podcast, make $1 million. You need to do video, YouTube video marketing. You're going to make $1 million, right? But then it's like, we got to have a better ad. Well, what's the ad say? Do you make a female versus a male ad? Do you make an older person, in the ad? Do you make a younger person? And then do you take them to a landing page on your website? Do you take them to a tab on your Facebook page, right? And then do you have a shopping cart? Do you have a free report? Do you ask for their first name and their email, or just their email, right? And then do you take them to a second page? When do you ask for the order? And then how do you tie your merchant account to? How do you help somebody? Because like in sales and marketing, especially on the marketing side of the business, it's like it's a double-edged sword for us, right? We can make a great ad for somebody, but if their website's not good, or if the salespeople are bad on the phone, or if their customer service is terrible, they may not make the sale, and they come back to us and say, you're a terrible marketer. I'm leaving you a 1-star Yelp review because you didn't help me. I'm like, dude, I totally helped you. How do you help people put it all together, right, instead of nibbling around the edges?
Realistically, you got to, I think, when I talk to clients that have the big dreams, because they've seen the videos and they have the big dreams, if I'm going to do all this with this little bit of money, you got to really tell them, the truth. Tell them the truth. You tell them, like, all right, based off what you have, based off what you're trying to do, these are your options. This is a work involved with those options. And I tell them if they come to us and they say, I want you guys to produce a video for us for TV, and this is what we're going to do. And we'll walk, whether it's a nonprofit, if it's a business, we'll go there to their location, and we'll tell them, like, all right, well, you're going to need to change this, because once we put the marketing out, everything has to match. Everything, that first impression has to match all the way through the end. So if you have a really great commercial, right, and it's looking like, it looks like you have this beautiful facility and all this, and then they walk in and you got like, wood beams falling and, water stains all over, like, that's not going to work. So we tell them, I would rather turn away the money when it comes to marketing, They're going to pay me to market. I'd rather turn away the money and tell them the truth versus take the money and, like you said, get that review. Because at the end of the day, when they pay the money, a lot of times, no matter what people say, they want you to make a miracle. They want a miracle. That's why they're paying you. And if we can't produce a miracle, meaning if we don't feel like there's enough in there to produce a miracle, then we just won't take the business, because there are certain things. It's like building a building, right? You can't go and just all of a sudden just put beams in the ground and put, front, bricks and all that stuff without, building a foundation first, letting the foundation settle first. There's certain things you have to do first before you can put the sign on top of the building saying we're open. So everything has a process, and anyone that wants to skip the whole process will never have success, and no matter what the business is. So just taking them back to the beginning and letting them understand the process, and then build and build. And sometimes you got to tell them all these things you want doesn't have to happen all at once. Like they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. So let's first focus on this area. And it may not even be marketing yet. It may not even be the marketing side of it. It may be just perfecting your sales technique to understand that when you get all the people there, how to close the deal. Because if you do all the talking and you never close and say, thank you, have a good day, you've wasted your time, their time, everybody's time, because everyone knows the close is coming. Everybody that walks into a place that sells anything knows a close is coming. And it's all about how do you close. The best salesperson is a person that can sell something to someone without the person feeling like they were sold. So if you master that technique and they walk away feeling like they got something from you and you got something from them, everyone's happy, then you can go out and market now because you have a really good sales technique where you just need more people to get a higher volume in sales.
Right. Yeah, I always say, make sure your processes are perfected first, because, good marketing, when you have a bad product or a bad system, it will accelerate how quick you go out of business. Right?
Yeah.
Just telling the world just how bad you are delivering what it is you say you do.
Yeah, that's true. True story.
So let's say somebody is, they're kind of bumping along. Maybe they got $5,000 they can spend over the next quarter. But how do they know? How do they know if their systems are good? How do they know if the website is right? Because I see it all the time. People that they want to run ads or they want to do some social media stuff, and I'm like, okay, it may feel good, maybe it's kind of fun, but you're just spinning your wheels. Where should they invest their time or their money to get to that next level if they've kind of plateaued, but still money is tight?
Well, first thing I would do is always compare. Always look at your competition, and sometimes it may not be direct competition. When it comes to your website, just some of your materials that you have. What I do is I tell them, look at the leaders. Look at Coke. Look at Pepsi. Look at McDonald's. Look at these big, companies. And now go to their website, all right? And even if you're not in food business, if you're not selling sodas, look at the website. Look at the color scheme they use. Look at how, is it dark? Is it light? Are they using mostly reds and blues? Because there's different colors that they're used to stimulate your mind. So I tell them, look at these different brands, the international brands that are internationally recognized. You see them on every Olympics, on every sporting event. Look at their website. Now look at your website. Do you feel like that if a person comes to your website, regardless of the product, do you feel like they'll feel comfortable as they would going to these websites, doing business on your website? Or does your website look like something that you kind of threw together last minute? It was one of those free templates that they give you from, when you sign up for, a free website somewhere. And then I say, look at your website as a customer. If you go to someone's website to purchase and it looks like your website, would you feel comfortable purchasing? And I say, now let's go look at Pepsi. Now, if you go to their website, do you feel comfortable, doing business with Pepsi? It's all about the look, the people, the smiles, the pictures, all that stuff plays into it, And then another thing is, if you have a budget, like you said, of about $5,000 a quarter, man, in social media dollars, that's like $50,000. You can do a lot with $5,000 in a quarter when you're doing online marketing, because when you think about even with Google Ads. You can with most social media campaigns, you can set a daily budget. All right. So if you set a daily budget, of $10 a day, that's only $300 a month. And $10 a day can still give you a significant amount of impressions and click-throughs at that low amount. So, like I said, if you have the $5,000 first, like you said, get your website, get all that stuff together. And then, like I said, $5,000 online is, trust me, you can do a lot of damage with $5,000 in internet marketing in 3 months.
But would you recommend somebody try to go it alone? Because I know I've seen a lot of mistakes, but I've seen both. I've seen people pay the wrong consultants and waste their money too. So I mean, how do they know where to start? You know, it's a couple things. Your internet is going to be your best friend. Again, Google is your best friend, because even if you're looking to do consulting services, there are people out there that give you reviews. You know, some of the websites, you know, they pay reviews, stuff like that. People will pay for good reviews. But if you are going to, if you know you're not good at marketing, you know, then find somebody that's good, and don't just, you know, spend money with the first person you talk to. Do your research. You know, most of these companies have phone numbers. You know, put a call in, talk to them. Go with who you feel comfortable with. And then set a budget. Don't blow your whole $5,000 on someone that's going to market for you. You know, set a budget. Let's say you're out of $5,000. Let's say you put 10% up first to see how they do. See what the return is, you know, before you blow your whole budget. But if you don't know how to do it, I always believe in, if I don't know how to do it, I'm going to find somebody that knows how to do it. And I'd rather pay that person that's an expert in that field than me, you know, just waste money or time trying to figure it out. Sometimes it's time you lose. Sometimes it's money you lose. The difference is this. If you lose money, you can always make more money. So if it's something where it's a gamble and you lose money, you can always make more money to replace that. However, if it's a gamble and you lose time, you never get time back. So if I'm weighing the options of if I gamble, will I lose money or time? If I'm losing money, I may make the gamble and just say, all right, I'm going to give them a $500 and see how they do, because it's just money. I still have time to make up if they make a mistake, whatever. But if it's something where I'm in crunch time and I'm like, I have like 30 days to get this campaign going, I don't have, you know, the ability I don't have the time to do it again, I may pay the premium price for someone I know is proven in that field that may, you know, I may pay $1,000 for them where I could have paid somebody else $500 because I don't have time, because I can't get back time. So when you're doing those things, like I said, if you have the money, pay somebody. If you have the knowledge, you know, go for it. Again, YouTube is a free resource to learn anything. So if you're one of those people that can pick up quickly and you got time to put into it and test different theories and all that, go through YouTube and Google, you know, or YouTube how to, you know, market with whatever social media you're trying to do. There's so many tutorials out there, people that's successful and some people that think they're successful. And you just got to go through it. Everything is you got to learn. That's the thing. If you learn, you'll be fine. Right. So I noticed. So on your Twitter, so you've got, it's your photography business,
right?
But you got a good chunk of followers. What, 21,000 roughly, 21,100. Now,
yeah.
Did you intentionally? Have you been cultivating that? Are people just finding you? And does this? You mentioned you traveled. So are you trying to cater to and cultivate a national audience, and that's why you've grown your list like that on Twitter?
Well, it's two things. Photography is more like I do it professionally, so I do get paid for it. However, with most of our followers and people that come to us come to my page, Twitter, or even our business page is from a couple different things. I have YouTube videos that are advertisements, so it's paid videos that'll actually, when you're watching a video related to whatever thing that we feel like is related to our product, you know, our video will play. And it's usually a video of me talking about something about internet media, internet marketing, online radio stations, something like that. So I get some followers that way. When we go out to different events and we're going out speaking at different events, we always have them sign up or follow us on Twitter. If you are a speaker, you know, if you have access to people and you have access to speak to people, always plug your Twitter, your Facebook. Always plug it. Always have them right there when you're talking to you. Pull out your phone, you know, follow me on Twitter right now. Search for me. I want you, and take 5 minutes, if not that long. Take a few moments to have them follow you on Twitter, you know, or social media. So the list that we have that's there is basically comprised of a couple different things. It's through the YouTube videos that we do. It's through just social media marketing. We use a software that kind of tweets for me. So some of the stuff they post, I'm not sitting right there posting it. It'll tweet for me to keep things going with the followers. So like I said, that's how we do it. So it's a variety of different ways. It's not really one way of doing it. Really, it's a couple different ways.
Do you have some metrics on social media or specifically Twitter that points back to getting new business?
Well, on my personal page, I don't. But sometimes when I post through my personal page, I'll post about the business with a link to the actual business website. And the business website, it really pushes a lot of stuff back to our business, Twitter, business, Facebook, stuff like that. So a lot of times for example, everything I have, all my social media, is my name. So it's Wade Dunn Jr. So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. So even on YouTube, I'm Wade Dunn Jr. So a lot of times people just find you. Again, people Google everything. So a lot of times people just find you just by seeing the video on YouTube. So then they'll connect with our streaming company. Then they'll go back and connect with us on Facebook or connect me on Facebook. They connect with me on Twitter. And because I have all my accounts linked, so if I post something, for example, on Instagram, it's linked to hit Facebook and Twitter at the same time. My Facebook's linked. So I have a lot of followers that may cross over from different platforms. Because like on Instagram, I think it's like 5,000 or 6,000 followers there. I think Facebook is about another 5,000 or so there. So a lot of times people will migrate over from different platforms. When they see you on one platform, a lot of times I follow the other one. So it's a variety of different ways. But everything I have, that's another thing too. If you are on social media, if you're a business or if you're a person, make sure everything you have is the same exact name. I don't do like the fancy names. That's me. That's just me. Or if I do that, you just want to make sure everything's the same. 'Cause I think your Twitter name is, I know your Twitter name and your Skype name talks about what you do. Yeah, I try to keep mine all the same. That way, if someone's trying to find me, they Google my name, all my social media comes up.
Right. Well, what if something cool has been taken?
Yeah. The coolest thing is your name.
I mean, if people are late to the game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why I said the coolest thing you ever have is your name. That's the thing that never changed. You think about it. Brands change. And think about how many companies. I was talking to my wife about this. We went down. We're in Georgia, like by Atlanta, but we went down to one of those country towns. Country. Time hasn't changed there in like 30 years. And I was riding past a gas station that was closed down, and it said Amoco. And my wife was like, "Oh yeah, AAMCO." I said, "No, not Mako. Amco. You remember Amco? That's what it was before it was BP. See, everyone knew Amco was a gas station, but then the brand changed, so they went to BP. So then they spend a whole bunch of money rebranding all their gas station and getting you familiar with the new name of their company. But my name's never going to change. I'm always going to be Wade Dunn Jr. Right? So it depends on if you're marketing yourself versus a company. If you're building a company, then you market your brand. And get creative with your brand. Get creative with the name. A lot of times, if you get creative with your name, the social media name will probably be available. And if not, like if you're like me and you're marketing yourself, then your name is the best marketing tool in my opinion. Because I don't. It's not too many. Well, I take that back. I Googled Wade Dunn one time. I had a landscaping business. I died 3 times, so I don't. So I take that back. But your name is always the best thing I think when it comes to marketing.
Well, how do you know whether to market or brand yourself versus the business? Because I know there's always a discussion about, like on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
Do you do everything personally or through your page? How do you know what to recommend to somebody?
I think it depends on your product. If you're selling, like for example, if you're a speaker, an author, doing things where you are the brand, then you want to market your name. If you're selling products where if you're a company, it gives you the ability to shift out different products. So, for example, this product may be good right now, but in 5 years, it may not be as popular as a new product coming out. So when you have a company name, it allows you to keep your company name out there as you shift through products. You know what I'm saying? So you have to sit down and say, when you first start out, am I doing something that's going to be marketing myself? Is it something that's going to tie back into me? Where I'm the brand, I'm the one they go to. They're buying me for my services, my talent, my knowledge. Or is it something where I'm building a company, I'm gonna have employees, I may not be there, I want it to live past me, stuff like that. If that's the case, and you want to do a company name, because again, it gives you more flexibility, even when you're dealing with other businesses. If you're going to another business as a business, you want to have a business name versus you being the business.
All right. So,
go
ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, I was going to say, like, if you watch Shark Tank, they talk about that all the time, about people that are the business.
Right.
They don't want to invest in the person. They want to invest in the business.
Right. So walk me through your decision then. So like on your Twitter page here, I got you linked to your photography page. Why do you link to there instead of your marketing business?
Well, funny thing is, my Wade Dunn Jr. on Twitter and even my Instagram is primarily my photography. So anything on Wade Dunn Photography, a lot of times on my Instagram is going to be pictures. So my photography business that's me. You're purchasing me. You're buying me, my talent. You're buying my expertise. That's what you're purchasing. Now, when you're talking about the company that I'm a managing partner for, which is where we do all our internet media stuff, that's streamingfree.tv. So if a person goes through streamingfree.tv, they may get myself, they may get my wife, they may get another one of our representatives that are in that the company. So it all depends on. I kind of purposely put the Wade Dunn Photography on my Twitter page and my Instagram, and I think even my Facebook, because I want people to know that when you're dealing with Wade Dunn Jr., it's it's Wade Dunn the speaker, it's Wade Dunn the photographer. But if you're dealing with streaming free, because when it comes to photography, I can answer to myself. I'm the end all be all when it comes to that, right? But if they're coming through our company, where we have the internet media, the internet marketing, the websites, all that stuff, streamingfree.tv, it's a little bit different. I'm not the end-all, be-all. So if they are dealing with me directly through Twitter, and if it's something, for example, if we have a client or a potential client that wants to sign up for, an internet radio station with us or something like that, I'll push them to our company stuff. I'll push them to our Twitter for streaming free. I'll push them to our, website for streaming free, give them the company phone number, because I don't want them to, when you're trying to build a business, especially, you want them to kind of follow protocol. And streaming free has a protocol how we process people to keep everything, accounted for. So that's why on my streaming free, on my Twitter page, it's all about me. It's all about the photography. It's all about, I probably don't give too many references to streaming free other than posts that I may put up from different things that we may be doing on that page.
Gotcha. So is that, so I just pulled it up here. Is it streamingfree.biz?
Yep. It's streamingfree.tv, but the website is streamingfree.biz. Yep.
All right. So why is that? Because I'm always curious how people name and URLs and redirects. Because I did type in streamingfree.tv, but it redirected. So
redirect. Yep.
What's the thought process behind that?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this: when you anytime you launch a business, you want to. It's equivalent. Domain names are equivalent to like real estate, right? It's like buying property. So if you have the opportunity to buy up a whole block for your business, right? Every building. Imagine every building being a .com, a .org, a .biz, a .tv. You want to try to buy up all the real estate because you want all the real estate. You want to market one name, but all the real estate is owned. So if someone types in, for example, a different name, it should direct back to you. So when we actually built the website originally, it was streamingfree.tv. We went and redeveloped the website, and we didn't want to have any downtime. So what we did was we basically redeveloped the website on a different .biz, but the .tv that everybody's familiar with just redirected because we didn't want to have any downtime in that website transition. So while the website was being built on .biz, .tv was still active.
Gotcha. But now, is it just a habit that you say .tv? Because if you pointed it now to .biz, why not just say .biz?
Well, because it goes back to what we said about branding and marketing, right? When we came out, we were streamingfree.tv, and we've been there from the beginning. So a lot of people that have known us for years have known us as streamingfree.tv. So now that we have .biz, we also have I think a .org and some other dot things. The thing is, we want them to continue to type the name they're familiar with. Our social media, for example, Twitter, Facebook, is all streamingfree.tv. Anything we've produced over the years for clients is tagged, produced by streamingfree.tv, whether it's websites, mobile apps, or videos. So because that was the branding that we kind of that's already out there, it's all over everything we've done so far, we didn't want someone to have to now remember a new brand, because we will go back to the streamingfree.tv being the primary website. It's just we haven't done it yet. So streamingfree.tv, like that's what we filed our LLC under, all that. So that's actually the company name, streamingfree.tv. So that's why we kind of, even though it redirects you to .biz, you're still typing in streamingfree.tv, ending up on that platform, and all the things other than the URL let you know it's streamingfree.tv.
Right. And then when you have additional URLs, do you develop separate websites, or you just redirect it and build off of your existing website?
Well, it depends. For example, streamingfree.tv also has a couple other brands underneath of it. One is like onlineradiopro.com. One is Radio K12. Those are two separate products, but each of those products got its own website that's not attached to the streamingfree.tv. So it's not like streamingfree.biz/onlineradiopro. So the way we do it is, you'll have, if you end up buying, let's say, 10 different domain names, that's like .com, .org, .us, .tv, .this, .that, right? And they got all these vanity names now, so you can do like .baseball, .soccer. So let's say you brought up all these names. You may have a vision for all these names to have its own website. In the meantime, you redirect all of them to the one place, the one website you have. So if someone types in something, or if you're marketing something, it goes to the same place. You can redirect it to a page in the website that may talk about that product, because it may not require a whole website yet. But what I recommend is, when it's time to actually build a website for that product, or build a website for that particular domain name, me personally, we don't build in addition to our existing websites to make it real heavy on your server. Right. We'll just basically launch a new server and build a new website for it.
Gotcha.
All right, we put a link to the...
Yeah, very cool. So that, man, you do all kind of stuff. Like me, man. Yeah. Got you a lot of irons in the fire.
That's the company website. So we do a lot. Like I said, streamingfree.tv is that's the main. That's what I call the 9 to 5. I always hashtag 9 to 5 anytime I'm talking about anything dealing with streamingfree.tv.
Gotcha. Very cool. So what are some parting words of wisdom you'd have for our listeners? What do you want them to take away from this and go out and make happen?
I just want you to just understand trends. When you're dealing with any type of business, understand the trend of your business. Understand the best way to get your bang for your buck. Because life evolves, and as life evolves, so does advertising. So does today it may be notebooks may have been the thing to buy. Tomorrow it may be pencils. But if you don't know that, you'll waste money on things. So you always got to stay up, to what's going on. Like, for example, what's happening right now with internet radio stations, for example. That's an excellent way of marketing. Excellent way of marketing, because internet radio stations, for one, have a large listening audience. And with the new things, if people haven't been paying attention, the internet radio stations have already, surpassed what people thought it would. They're actually putting them in 2016 cars that are coming out end of the month, like 31 automakers. But that's an excellent way to advertise right now, because what's happening is, as that audience is increasing, the rates for advertising haven't yet. So you can get with an internet radio person and say, hey, I want to advertise on your station, and it probably will still be pennies on the dollar. But now, because the audience is increasing, you're talking about 31 different car makers putting it in the cars, people can listen to it riding down the road. That's a whole nother audience that the person that owns a radio station doesn't realize how much they can make off of that. So it's different things like that, and like I always tell people too, when it comes to marketing, pay attention to what other people are doing. Pay attention. When you go in different places, for example, we go into Sonics, me and my wife, all the time. Well, not all the time, but I don't want to say it like all the time, but we go there frequently. So
I like the tater tots.
Yeah, I do too. I thought it was just me. I love the tater tots, man. I get that. I get the kids meal. I get the grilled cheese kids meal with the tater tots because I love them. But what I pay attention to is when I sit in there, though, there's ways that people subliminally market to you, right? And you probably never pay attention to it, but I guarantee you, when you go back to Sonics next time, everybody's listening will find out this is the truth. Well, you sit there and you're listening and you pull up to a little stall and you got your window down, you're waiting to order, you'll hear music playing, right? And at every couple songs, you'll hear an advertisement for Sonics, right? Sonics did something that people haven't really realized the power of. They have put into every Sonic store a radio station that markets to you subliminally all the different promotions they have going on. So it's playing the top 40 music, but every commercial is talking about the new chili hot dog that's out, foot-long thing, the new, half-price Sundays after whatever. And next thing you know, as I caught myself doing it, you order in a half-price Sunday because you look at your watch and realize, oh, it's after 8 o'clock. So the things you got to understand is that there's a different way that people are marketing right now that doesn't cost a lot of money. I put every client I talk to, I don't care if they're calling about it or not, I tell them, get an internet radio station. Because for the cost you'll pay in an internet radio station, it may be like $50 a month. The cost you pay, you can have an audience that's larger than that, and that's your only expense is $50 a month. You put all your commercials in there and music. So this, if I'm telling someone that's sitting, at an office, or if they're sitting at home and they're trying to get their business started, find the new ways of doing things. Because if you jump into a pool that's already full with people, you're not going to have as much fun. Can't go as far. But if you find the pool that has all the same features that no one has gotten into yet, if you get in there first, you can own it. You can own it.
Yep.
So that's what I recommend. Find something different. Internet radio stations are, people pay attention. If 31 automakers, Android, has launched this thing called Android Auto, I want you to Google it, because Android Auto is what Chevy, Ford, Bentley, Volvo are putting in their cars. End of the month, they're coming out, and they're going to have internet radio stations in it. The same way you can switch from AM, FM, XM, it's going to be internet radio. Big difference is this. There's no subscription. So meaning people around the world can listen to you as they travel without having to pay a subscription fee. It's going to do damage to AM, FM, and XM. So if you can get into that market now to get to the advertisement, get to those people, I'm telling you, your money will stretch really well.
I just did a search, how to buy an internet radio station. Is that what I do?
Yeah, you can do how to buy an internet radio station. Our company sells them for $50 a month. You can go to onlineradiopro.com, and we actually do all the work for you. So all you got to do is load your MP3s in it. But that is, as a matter of fact, our internet radio stations are one of the few internet radio stations that'll be in the cars coming out end of the month. So if you're looking to make sure that you'll be in those cars, like I said, we're one of the few companies that are actually putting the radio stations we launch in those cars.
So is that your business, the onlineradiopro.com?
Yep. It's all tied in streamingfree.tv. Streamingfree.tv is, I'm a managing partner on that company, and we own onlineradiopro.com. So, yeah, we do all that.
So how is that different than having a podcast? Will
Great
podcasts
question.
be streamed or through their cars maybe, or what's up?
Well, the thing is, if you're a podcaster, you already have everything you need, because the way the radio stations work is you take all your MP3s that you've compressed and you'll put it into a radio station in the 24-hour format. So it actually helps a podcaster, because where, for example, with a podcast, you take the file, you put it on a website, people download it, listen to it when they're ready. With the online radio station, you take that same file, you put it into your radio station, and what we do is we distribute it to 35 outlets. So now that one file is now being heard in 35 different locations, including cars, TVs, cell phones, laptops, tablets. So it really takes people that are in podcasting that they're already doing the shows. It gives them a larger audience, but now they can put it into a radio station format, which now gives them advertising dollars. It gives them the ability to advertise their own products, but also they can generate revenue that way too, which can offset some of the costs of their other business just by selling airtime to other podcasters on their radio station. Mm-hmm. So that's why I tell clients, no matter who I talk to, look at internet radio stations, because it can help them with advertising, but it also can help them with the bottom line of bringing in some money in the meantime while the other product gets going. So like I said, but yeah, podcasts are excellent. We have a lot of clients that are coming from either podcasting or blog talk, and they want a format where they can have their own 24-hour radio station, just like what they hear on the radio. I mean, with the commercials, the shows, the music. So yeah.
So all right, so I come over here, I get your pro plan or your premium plan, and I have, counting you now, golly, I'm pushing 150 episodes. So I mean,
okay.
that's a lot. If each one averages at least 30 minutes. So What's that? 75 hours of content. So people can listen for easily 3 straight days and not hear a repeat. So would I get the Sales Podcast radio show, or would it be the Sales Whisperer radio show if I want to like branch out later, or do maybe hey, Sales Whisperer's on live taking your calls now, coast to coast? I mean, so walk me through that. So because I may do this, I mean, I've never even thought of it. But others, listening to like what would they do?
Okay, so for example, what I would say in your case, and we'll talk about everybody else in a minute. In your case, you want to brand what you do. If you are the Sales Whisperer, that's what people know you as, or Sales Podcast. Whatever you're doing now with your podcast, you keep that name. You make it, just put radio after it. And now what gives you the ability to do is take all your podcasts, put it in there. But now you may be able to bring other people that have podcasts that you may listen to and say, hey, if you want to, be on the platform with me or whatever, you can open it up to it. The way it works is, it gives them 75 hours. You got 75 hours of content. It'll rotate however you program it.
Right.
This radio station we're talking about, that the cool thing about these stations is it gives you the same ability that you hear in your local radio. So you can run commercials in between it, music and all that stuff. But the key is you want to use whatever name that you want to market. Because I tell people, use it as a marketing tool. Because what we do is we give you a mobile app. For example, we develop mobile apps for Google, Apple, Amazon, and BlackBerry. Okay, and some of our plans we have will give you mobile apps, or you can even add mobile apps to it. But the mobile app becomes your calling card. Because in that mobile app, you can have the 24-hour live radio station that plays your content 24/7, gives subliminal marketing. But inside the mobile app, you can also put additional buttons that can link to your website that may have a sales page, or may link to a YouTube channel that has all your videos showing your products. So we tell people, when you get a radio station, we give the Google Play mobile app for free with either the Pro plan or the Premium plan. And I tell them, I say, look, use this as a marketing tool. Use it as a business card. When you go to somebody and you tell them about what you have. If they have an Android phone, tell them, download my app, because they can get all the information there. If it's someone that's not like, say we're not talking about you, someone else that's doing, let's say doing like basket weaving, right? Okay, basket weaving radio. Let's get it's somewhat the same concept. Let's get a radio station that talks about how to basket weave, different types of weave styles and different types of things. And then inside the mobile app, you can have a button that takes them to your sales page that sells all the baskets you've made. So a radio station can really work for anybody. We have clients that are barbers. We have clients that are bakers. We have clients. Matter of fact, we have school systems, and we're teaching in the school system, public school system, to the high school students, a 3-year course, the business of internet radio. It teaches them everything about the money side of it, the advertising side of it, the exposure side of it, how to produce the shows, how to set your format, all the different things like that. So it is a solid solution that you can actually incorporate into any business, no matter. We have mechanics that have their radio stations playing in their shop, that's playing music, and they're talking about the specials every three or four songs. Right. Talks about the oil change special. So it can fit into any business.
So can somebody just stream? You get access to music for free? I mean, how does that work?
Well, the way it works when you're talking about the music side of it, all you need from our standpoint is MP3s. So a lot of people already have their own library of music. A lot of times,
if I bought my own music, I can upload it.
Yeah, if you brought your own music, you can upload it. Now, I will tell you this. There is royalties that have to be paid. But, again, because you're dealing with internet media, the cost is, like, so cheap. It's, like, ridiculous. Like, for example, you can pay as low as $30 a month and play whatever you want from anybody.
Okay.
Any genre. So that's, like, the royalties are really inexpensive.
Right. Gotcha. Look at that, man. I had to say, all right, we're leaving, and you pulled that out. Man, that just ain't right. All right, I'm glad we got to it. I've got one more interview today, but I'm going to hit you up because I'm very interested in this. And, hey, you got to be everywhere, right? And, my claim to fame, I mean, heck, I got on the Infusionsoft bandwagon early, 7 years ago before it really popped and made a name for myself. Okay. And so I totally see what you're saying about detecting trends and having the courage to at least dip your toe in the water, right? Because even being out there a little bit can get you ahead of the curve, can get you exposed. And I mean, for $30 to $100 a month, I mean, good grief, why not try it, right? Yep,
that's how we say it. We tell people look at it as a marketing expense because at the end of the day, It's just like paying Google ads or anybody else a certain amount every month. It's just the difference is you control it. You control it.
All right. Very nice. Mr. Wade Dunn Jr. Find you at twitter.com/Wade Dunn Jr. Thanks for coming on the Sales Podcast, man. Been great.
No problem, sir. Thanks for having me, Wes. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. There's always two sides to every coin, right? Two sides to every argument. And what Wade brings up illustrates that, on the one hand, we need to be looking at new and emerging technologies and leveraging them and getting out ahead of them, grabbing that digital real estate and claiming it while you can. On the flip side, you need to be going to the well with things that work, okay? As entrepreneurs, far too often we get bored with a campaign, with a certain way of doing business, and we quit while there's still some juice left in that orange, right? While there's still some gold left in the bottom of that mine. So that's the two sides of marketing, of growing your business. Being able to stick with what works while also looking to see what's coming over the horizon to see how you can improve. I do this personally, and I tell my clients, the goal is always to try to beat your best performing ad, okay? But it's also try to beat your best performing marketing method, okay? So whatever works, you're always trying to beat it. You're trying to write a better landing page, make a better video, improve your booth, improve your direct mail pieces, improve your Facebook ads. So in this case, what Wade's talking about is getting into internet radio. Okay, so maybe it's not for you, but maybe it is. So it's worth investigating. However, I want to make sure that your foundation is solid. Make sure that you are doing all that you can with your current business, with your current tools, with everything from your website, your optimization, your lead magnets, your content, your SEO. There is no silver bullet, okay? Internet radio and being in the car is not going to save a bad business. So make sure you're looking internally. Make sure you're not looking at new things just to distract yourself, just to keep you from taking a hard look on the inside, okay? And a lot of people do that. Rather than find the issue and fix it from within, we look outside. And the Bible tells us the same thing. Before you take the splinter out of your neighbor's eye, take the big 2x4 out of your own. Okay, and it applies with your own marketing and your sales and your own current processes as well. And you'll always hear me basically contradict myself, right? There's always two sides. I want to give you both sides of the story so you can make an informed decision. But at the end of the day, you have to make a decision. That's what business is all about. That's what leadership is all about, making that choice. And we've got some guys coming up on for the SEAL Week coming up to help me promote my swim, helpwesswim.org. It's my charity swim I did last year and I'm doing next year for the Navy SEAL Foundation. But these Navy SEALs that I interview, they always talk about not being able to see much farther than one step, but they make that step, and then the light shows another step, and then another. Okay, you have to keep going. You have to make a decision, because even if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice, right? Who sang that song? Put in the comments if you know who sang that song. It's one of my favorites. So like always, go back and listen to the notes. A lot of good content in here that Wade brings up. Check out his streamingfree.tv. If you are interested in what he's doing, he's also at onlineradiopro.com. All of the show notes for Wade will be at thesaleswhisperer.com/session156. And as always, remember to sell different.